You know what's a pretty cheap click? Your name.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't type in air conditioning repair. You don't type in hot water heater replacement. You just say, when they type this name in there, in this trade area, yeah, you have an unlimited budget for me to show up. They're looking for me.
If they're searching for the name of your business,
They've already chosen you.
or your brandable child,
And that's
they're
a
just trying to
high
find you.
conversion. High conversion click. Unbelievably high conversion. They've already chosen you. I don't care how much money you have. You don't have enough money to reach everyone. Choose who to leave out.
Go deep, don't go wide. Get 5 or 10% of the people to go 100% of the way there with you.
Advertising is a tax you pay for not being remarkable. Welcome to Todd Liles and the Wizard of Ads, a podcast for business owners who want to become remarkable. Tight-lipped Todd Liles is going to take you deep into the mind of Roy H. Williams, the Wizard of Ads, to unleash the timeless truths and secret strategies that have helped him build dozens of America's most successful businesses. Do you want to build a brand that wins the heart, captures the mind, and creates lasting relationships? Take a deep breath and buckle up. It's time to fly.
Today, we're going to talk about Google and the truth about search advertising. And just for the listener, the last episode that we did, we touched on this, and it was extraordinarily powerful. We even broke down a case study. But we know that this is a big question. What is search advertising? How does radio impact that? Why does it matter?
Radio and TV.
Radio and TV.
Right, yeah.
Yes. And because I love forecasting, we have TV as a future topic coming up very soon.
Good.
So I want to jump into it. And if the listener is interested, Roy, these are coming from your memos. Here's the title of the memos, which I will put in the show notes. You don't have to go searching for them. Just go to toddliles.com. Find this episode. You'll have the show notes with the direct connection to Roy's Monday Morning Memos. The goal is differentiation. How quickly will my ads start working? Unbranded search, the yellow pages. Roy, let's jump straight into it. You talk a lot about being the default choice. Why is this so powerful, specifically in the world of search advertising?
Okay. Search advertising, whether it's Google or any other search engine, is simply the new yellow pages.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that's old enough to remember the yellow pages, if you know the name of the company you're looking for, you would look up in the white pages. If you were looking for Morris Jenkins, you would look under M for Morris, right?
Exactly.
Now, if you're looking for air conditioning repair, you would look in the yellow pages under A for air conditioning repair. Now, here's the problem. When you search by the name of the category, which is Google, and it's the yellow pages, the only thing that we can know for sure is you do not have a preferred provider in that category.
Wow.
You're searching for the category, which tells us a second thing. You believe everyone in this category is equal. And the only thing that separates these people is the price. And so whenever you look under P for plumber, you believe all these people are equal. Now, that's going to be an unbelievably, and it was Ryan Chute who taught me this, one of our partners. Ryan said the difference between low cap and high cap keywords. And I said, dude, I've been doing this forever. What the hell is a cap? And he says, C stands for conversion.
Yes.
A stands for average sale. P stands for profit margin. And so whenever I was talking to him about branded and unbranded keywords, he said, yeah, one of those is low cap and one of those is high cap. And so when you type in air conditioning repair or you type in hot water heater replacement, you're basically saying, all I know is the category I'm interested in. I have no preferred provider. And so a bunch of people are going to get clicked. Bunch of people are going to pay a lot of money for that click. It's a very expensive click. And everybody that gets clicked is going to have a very low conversion rate. They're going to have a very low average sale and a low profit margin if they get the sale. Why? Because the only thing these people are looking for is somebody that can come right away and give them a really cheap price.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't answer those two things for them, you're not getting the deal, which is a race to the bottom. And so the people that are willing to spend way more money than you, and they believe, well, I'm going to spend a whole lot of money to get that customer, then I'm going to keep that customer. No, you're not. That's a pipe dream.
Right.
You know why you're not going to keep the customer? Because a person that you can win for reasons of price alone, you can lose for the same reason just as
100%.
quickly. The person that will come to you for reasons of price alone will switch to you from somebody else. Now remember, customers are either switchable, non-switchable, or switchable for reasons of price alone. Now, a customer that's switchable for reasons of price alone, you cannot build a company on those people.
Right.
Because somebody's going to come along, make it a little worse and sell a little cheaper, and take it away from you. Now, customers that are non-switchable, they have found their provider. They love that provider, and they're not going to switch until that provider really, really screws up more than once. And they'll be forgiven once with a non-switchable customer. They may be forgiven twice.
Right.
But it takes a real screw up on the part of their current provider for that company to ever be in, for that customer to ever be in play. So what you're actually looking for is switchable customers. You're not, and so you want to get switchable customers and make them non-switchable, but you don't make customers that are switchable for reasons of price alone. You can't make them non-switchable.
Mm-hmm.
You got to find a switchable customer. You have to say the right thing the right way to get a person to switch from their current provider or to switch from just typing in the category and to switch to typing in your name. When they type in your name, that ain't the yellow pages, baby. That's the white pages.
Right.
And now when they type in your name and your name pops up, they click it, even if it was number 7 on the list, even if it was number 8 on the list, which is why I say, when you're doing a customer bonding campaign, when you're becoming the name they think of first and feel the best about, through repetition and customer bonding language, messages, poetry, if you will, when you're telling stories that are new, surprising, different, and memorable, now all of a sudden they go to Google, they type in your name because they're looking for you by name, and you always have an unlimited budget to buy your own name.
Right.
You know, it's a pretty cheap click. Your name.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't type in air conditioning repair. You don't type in hot water heater replacement. You just say, when they type this name in there, in this trade area, yeah, you have an unlimited budget for me to show up. They're looking for me. Never have a daily budget on your own name. Does that make sense? Just be willing
Never have a daily budget on your
See,
own.
everybody has a daily cap or a weekly cap on their spend.
Okay.
On your own name, don't have a cap, asshole.
Thank you.
Does this make sense?
That was unclear to me. You're saying actually do have money that you're putting on your own name, just don't limit it. If someone's willing to go
You
looking
need to have
for
an
your name,
unlimited
have it up
budget
there.
on your name.
Thank you.
24/7. If they type your name into Google, you need to show up. You know why? Because if you don't, somebody else will.
Yeah, and just for clarity, Roy wasn't calling me the asshole.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was just saying, if you don't buy your own name, then either your name is worth nothing or you're too stupid to succeed.
I absolutely adore that analogy, and I know that there will be certain people of a certain age that will listen to this, like my nephew,
Right.
and he won't even get what the yellow pages are.
I know.
But he will now understand that a yellow page is a search by category. It's a search for garage door repair, air conditioner repair, plumbing repair,
Dentist.
and that's going to be really, really expensive with a really low average ticket and a really low profit margin.
Right.
If they're searching for the name of your business
They've already chosen you.
or your brandable chunk,
And
they're
that's
just
a
trying to
high
find you.
conversion.
High
High conversion click. Unbelievably high conversion. They've already chosen you.
Already done.
High conversion, high average sale. They're not shopping. And high profit margin because they're not shopping.
'Cause they're not
They
shopping.
have chosen you.
Yeah.
And so
that's awesome.
to move people to typing your name into Google.
That's sort of a litmus test, isn't it? Like when you're
This is
talking,
why we tell our clients, look, your digital weasels aren't going to want to do it because they want to show you, oh, it all works out. It all works out. It's all pretty good. Just blend it together. It's like, no, I want to see what did they type into the search engine. All the people that typed our name, and on Service Titan, you can actually isolate. If you have, I don't think it's part of the standard program. Maybe it is today, but it didn't used to be the last time I looked. You can get someone who has access to the AP, and they can show you the people that typed your name into Google. This is who answered the phone. This is the total price of the job. This was the profit in the job.
Mhm.
And this is the profit you made after you paid for your Google AdWords,
Right.
for your keywords. And then if you calculate your branded keywords, your name and the other recurrent phrases that you and you alone use, those keywords, if you type those brandable keywords if you track them separate from the unbrandable keywords, unbranded. The unbranded keywords, that's air conditioner repair, hot water heater replacement. You're going to find out you're paying an enormous money for these. You have low average sale, low profit margin, horrible conversion.
Right.
Spend tons of money to make not that many sales. And when you put them all together, it looks okay. Don't put them together. Because when you see this starting to grow, you can cut back your ad spend. As a matter of fact, when Elmer sold Elmer's, okay, this blows people's away, doing $40 million in San Antonio at the end of 10 years. 10 years earlier, he's a guy named Elmer with a pickup truck. That's it. That's it. And so we just helping him. And 10 years later, he sells with generational wealth. We had Dallas and Houston both going like crazy because we could fund it from all this wonderful profits in San Antonio. And so when Elmer sold the company, we were spending less than $20,000 a month on digital, $240,000 a year on digital to drive $40 million. And you know how much we were spending on the radio?
I have no idea.
$430,000
A month.
No,
A year?
a year. $430,000 net per year, plus $240 on digital. That is $690.
Even at $690, but driving $40 million
Yeah.
in revenue?
700. Yeah, that's whenever you know what you're doing and you have patience. We're driving $40 million in revenue with a total ad spend of $700,000.
That's mind blowing.
I know. Now, what I'm saying is that kind of efficiency comes with patience and relentless commitment. And it doesn't come overnight, and it doesn't come quickly, and it doesn't come in the 4th month or any of that crap. And I'm saying when you start by making sure of one thing, Todd, this is a thing everybody has to understand. You will always hear me say, choose who to lose. Sometimes it's a customer with the wrong mindset. The customer who's looking for something and it ain't you. Choose to lose that guy. Do not ask, how can I sell that person? I'm going, you just don't want to. Please don't try to sell that person because it's going to screw up your brand. They are against what you stand for. Don't try to pretend you stand for what it is they're looking for. The other thing when I say choose who to lose, I don't care how much money you have. You don't have enough money to reach everyone. Choose who to leave out.
Yes.
Because anytime somebody says, oh, we're leaving out these people. Oh, we're leaving out those people. I'm going, yeah, you don't have enough money. Get over it. You don't have enough money. Get over it. If you have a little bit of money and you're in a big town, it is way better to reach 5% of the people and own them.
Right.
And that takes repetition. And we're choosing to lose at this time because we can't afford to reach everybody else. We're choosing to ignore the other 95% of the city because we only have enough to reach 5% properly.
Right.
And anytime somebody tries to stretch a budget beyond the amount that they can actually afford to reach correctly, they will never succeed. Never.
Roy, I crunched the numbers on that. You take 690,000 and take 40 million as a division, that's 1.725%. That is amazing.
Not that amazing to me. I've been doing it for 40 years.
I think everybody else that's listening to this are going, I'm spending 10 and 12%, not getting anywhere near that type of results. That is phenomenal.
Well, no. Elmer spent a lot of money, parades and
he reinvested in other ways.
Yeah. It just whenever you're making crazy profits, you start doing fun things simply because you can afford it. He decided, and by the way, I didn't tell him to. I didn't care. You know why? I love Elmer. It's his money. He owns the company. He had just told me one day, hey, guess what I did? What'd you do, Elmer? I became the major sponsor of the San Antonio Spurs. What's that cost? $1.2 million. Okay. And he goes, put together some TV ads to run during the San Antonio Spurs games. Cool. We put together some incredible ads. Never asked me if I thought he should do it. I never told him I had an opinion. He's got the money. I created the ads. He's a hero. I guarantee they would elect him mayor today. I guarantee it. If he would run for mayor, they would elect him mayor. And so I just go, all right. And so with the unspent money, most clients figure out a way to spend it or something to spend it on. and they'll buy a jet and call it advertising expense, or something, and write it off. I don't care. My job is just to do what I do incredibly well, and what you do with the money that's made or that's left over, that's up to you.
That's still only 4.75%. That's still, go for it, Elmer. So this is what it says to me, is that when it's done well, mass media can be the key to creating familiarity in a digital world that drives people to type it in your name.
Yes.
That's what I'm taking away from this. And I had a whole series here. How can a small business become the familiar choice without spending a fortune? And you're kind of already answering these questions if we're listening closely, which is go deep, don't go wide. Get 5 or 10% of the people to go 100% of the way there with you. Don't try to get 100% of the people to do 5% of the way.
Yes. And my publisher, Ray Bard, he's retired now, but he owns Bard Press, a legendary publisher.
He's say deep and narrow, but yes.
Yeah, it's called a well. It's a well.
Yeah.
And so he says everything falls into one of these 4 quadrants. Now, left to right is how widespread is the interest. To the far left, small number of people interested, or you're reaching a small number of people. On the far right, lots of people. Up and down is how deep is the interest. So if you look at the upper left, you have a puddle. You have a small left to right, small size, very shallow.
I'll make a little drawing of this.
Yes, very shallow. Number 2, to the right of that, it's very shallow interest, but very wide number of people. That's a swamp or a bayou. You know about these?
Oh, yeah, Mississippi and Louisiana.
Absolutely. So it looks like an ocean, but you can jump out of the boat and stand up. It comes up to your knees.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just, there's no depth. Now, here's what's interesting. Width of interest, width of a reach, how wide you reach, isn't that important. How deep you go in the relationship is the only thing that matters. So if you go to the left side again, where you had the puddle on the left, you have a well on the right, a well. You can make a fortune with a well. And then if you go to the bottom right, you have an ocean. It's huge, wide, and very, very deep. Now, in book publishing, there's only 3 nonfiction categories, that are ocean categories: diet, sex, and money. Diet, sex, and money. So sales books, the Chris Voss books, money. Okay, that's a money book. Diet, sex, and money are the only nonfiction categories that are ocean categories. Advertising, so when I made number 1, blah, 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 Wall Street Journal, New York Times, and Business Book of the Year and all this stuff, right? Advertising is a well. There's very few people actually interested in advertising, but those that are interested in it, their interest goes very, very, very deep. And so Ray was telling me about a book. I think I mentioned this once before. There's 450,000 members in the American Quarter Horse Association. Now, back when books were selling for like $8 and $10, this is like 30 years ago, there was a book published, big book, called The Care and Feeding of Quarter Horses. And it was $69.95.
All right.
So it's a $70 book. Yeah, this is a crazy book. Unbelievably expensive book. $69.95, The Care and Feeding of Quarter Horses. How many copies do you think it sold? 450,000.
I was going to say 100.
No, 450,000.
Made a lot of money on that book.
There's 450,000 people in the American Quarter Horse Association. If you have a quarter horse and it costs money to own that horse, but forget what you paid for it. It costs money for that horse just to exist.
You're right. You're buying that book.
Pasture. Listen, $70 is nothing compared to feed and pasture and barn and vet bills and tack and equipment and a horse trailer and something to pull the horse trailer with. I mean, if you own quarter horses, even one, you have got many, 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 many tens of thousands of dollars invested in that horse. And a big is way more expensive than owning a swimming pool and a tennis court and being a member of a country club. It's way more expensive than all those combined. And I'm saying, so yeah, $70, no problem. Is it a mass market book? Nope. Does anybody know about the book that doesn't own a quarter horse? Nope. And so that's a well. And I'm saying when you're a small company, a small service company, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, garage doors, I don't care. Don't try to reach more people than you can afford to reach.
Yep.
make sure that your budget, instead of reaching 100% of the people and convincing them 10% of the way, reach 10% of the people and convince them 100% of the
Love
way.
it.
And it takes repetition. It takes repetition. It takes repetition. Without repetition, you got nothing.
Yep. So going into that well category, I've only recently added cycling. I'm doing the Peloton stuff to my fitness routine. And I bought these very inexpensive, covers that I could put my feet in, and I zip them down and then I go. But now I'm becoming more interested in actually owning the shoes that they clip in. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm fairly interested. So I'm starting to research that. And I'm watching this video where this guy's going over the top 10 shoe manufacturers in the world. And then when he gets to the end, it's Specialized in Lake. These are the two big high-end shoe manufacturers. And he says, they're selling each of them somewhere around 2 million pairs of shoes annually. And I'm going, okay. And he just goes on about how great they are. Well, then I hop online. I've never bought shoes for cycling before. I have no idea. I still haven't bought them yet because I have this really wide foot, which is rare in the cycling world. So I got to find some that'll work. But the average shoe sells for $500. And each company is selling somewhere around 2 million of these $500 pair of shoes annually.
Wow.
Because the people that are into it. And these shoes are lasting thousands and thousands of miles, but after a year, they need a new pair. So they have this loyal audience, and I'm going, holy smokes, they're doing hundreds of millions of dollars. And when you look at 8 billion people in the world, cycling's pretty popular, but the people that are going to invest $500 in shoes is actually a really narrow well.
Yeah.
There's tons of other shoe manufacturers that are making very inexpensive shoes, but no one's buying them.
Right.
Well, some people are buying them, but the people that know,
And then
want the good
after,
stuff.
when they can afford them, they get the good ones.
Eventually they get the good
Or
stuff.
if they stay committed to the endeavor.
Yes, that's right. So I love this well philosophy and this concept. And I think if you look at a well, and I'm going back to someone that you turned me on to. You turned me on to James Michener.
Yeah.
And I read the book Hawaii, and it starts with him talking about the formation of the island, and then eventually they're trying to get to the water that has over millions of years have seeped into it. And there's a character in the story who is digging a well, and one of the family lineage people is like, why don't you put a motor on that thing? Because he was digging the well by hand, one well at a time. Clip, clip, clip. He'd built this machine. He just cranks it, cranks it, cranks it. Eventually, after a long period of time, they hit the water. And this makes them next level uber rich because they were the only people that believed it could be done. And they just keep finding new ways to dig wells, and they use that water to grow and grow and grow more things, more pineapples, more crops, more etc. But it makes me think about the tortoise and the hare approach.
Yeah.
And the reason why is that really good things often take time. But the things that take time tend to last. They tend to come in first place eventually. So let's just tackle the mindset. I'm assuming that the listener that's been hanging out with us by this point knows if they're trying to get everything all at once right now. And they probably are realizing that that's not good. So the person that's sort of trying to get over their addiction of the fast hit, direct response, low price, something's for sale, limited time offer. Yeah, call me now. What would you say to that person when it comes to this topic that we're talking about today?
You don't want me to answer that?
I do. Go ahead. The risk of clarity is the price. The risk of insult's the price of clarity.
Right.
Let's do it.
All right. A person who is a TLB.
May I translate? That's a twitchy little bastard for those that are uninformed.
So anytime somebody has this, I want to make big things happen right now. I want to make a whole lot of money real fast and not take any chances. I'm going, great, do that. This is America. Go do that. That's my advice. Go do it.
Just go do it.
You know why? My experience has been, keep in mind how long I've been doing this. My experience has been, if you successfully talk a person out of doing that, they're still a twitchy little bastard. They still secretly believe their idiotic thing is going to work until they hit a wall.
There you go. I was going to ask if there's a hope.
Until they hit a wall, and I'm not going to say they actually want to kill themselves. They can just think of not that many wonderful reasons to keep living. You know what I mean? It's like, man, this is like, I have done so many things. I've spent so much money. I've listened to so many experts. I've listened to so many podcasts. I've hired so many consultants. I've done everything that all these people have told me, and it's just not coming together. Because see, a twitchy little bastard can keep the dream alive. Go to one more conference, listen to one more inspirational talk, get some half-ass advice from one more enthusiastic person, right? And I'm going, I can't compete with that. You know why? Okay, I'm just a shiny new object for those people.
Yeah.
And it always ends badly. And I've learned, and I try to teach my partners, you have to make the decision. Is this a person that I actually would like to have in my life? Yes or no? And you know who the people I want in my life? This is a horrible thing for me to say on a podcast. It's the people that have tried so hard, and I need them to either be flat, working their butt off, and they're flat, or better, down.
Yeah.
Down 3 years in a row, and they're doing everything in the world they can to turn it around, and they can't. That person I want to talk to. You know why? They're exhausted, and they'll do exactly what I tell them, and they won't be nervous, and they'll be committed to it, and it will work. But anytime somebody says, okay, how long is it going to take? How long is it going to take? How long is it going to take? And I'm going, at least 6 months. It'll be 6 months before you're going to be out of your mind, just frantic for a few months. Okay. 6 months and 1 day then, and I'm going to be rich. It's like, nope. You know, it's going to take time. Now, at the end of a year, you are deeply, deeply impressed, and you're going, this is working. I'm excited.
Right.
Now, getting people through that first year, that's what I get all the money for. The second year is a joy compared to the first year. The third year you're celebrating, and I'm going, getting through that first year takes everything I've got. It takes everything the business owner has. It's a horrible, horrible, hard, dark time. And I'm going, yeah, if somebody still secretly believes in all these little magical bullshit things they're being told, I don't want to know them.
I want to speak to people that over time have become twitchy little bastards. I'm going to give you, like, I agree with everything that you've said. I want to give one counter thought. And this counter thought may actually be for our Wizard of Ads
Keep in mind, I said some horrible things. I told you shouldn't ask the
It's not the
question.
horrible things.
All right.
That's not the part that I want to counter on the thought. And I'm actually going to speak to the Wizard of Ads partner group right now. And
Okay.
you can listen as an observer
Okay.
and give your thoughts.
Okay.
So one of the things that I've realized for us, and this will totally relate, is that it's important that we ask the question when someone calls us for the first time, can you tell us about your history with Service Excellence or with Todd? And if they can describe that they have been reading content and listening and watching for a year or 2 years or 3 years, we understand that they know who we are. If they go, well, I just saw one of your videos, I thought it was interesting, and it's just one, they can't help it. They are a twitchy little bastard.
Right.
So I have worked with folks for a long time, and one of the things that I've realized is that there is sometimes a transition to twitchy little bastard. You even said it in your words. They've tried this. They've believed every promise because they don't know the promise to believe. And then they come to a wizard, not necessarily you. Because if I've looked at you, I've probably been reading your Monday morning memos. I've probably read your books. I've probably taken a deep dive. If I haven't, then go do that. Because they got to have a level of confidence. But maybe they talk to one of our partners and they're asking these questions. It's kind of risky for one of our partners to think that they are a twitchy little bastard and therefore they have no saving grace. Because the truth is, they probably are a twitchy bastard because other people have made them some promises that they've bought into and it's not turned out well. So when they're sitting across from a partner that doesn't have the length and breadth of history that you have to dive into it, they got a million questions going in their mind. They're like, even if I like this person, I really like this person. I really, really like this person, but I'm terrified because I like the other 3 people before them. How do I know that you are the guy? So what I would say to our partners is evidence them. Be patient before we've written them off and make sure that their education is deep and wide. And I think this is when we have to be long-term thinking. It's like, oh, this is really their first brand experience with us. They came across with us because they read an article. They haven't read many articles. What is your history with the Wizard of Ads? What is your history with the organization? Oh, it's brand new. Let me send you 50 things to read.
I did that recently, and thank you for bringing up what you brought up. Because, as I will, and literally for many, many, many years, 30 years, when somebody wants to meet with me, they can call Corrine Taylor and spend $7,500 and I'll sit with them for a day. Now, I'm losing money giving up a day for $7,500, but I'll always do it because here's why. It's a really weird thing. That's a number I paid somebody 30 years ago that changed my life. I paid him $7,500 for one day. His name was Gary Wortman. He was a CPA. He's retired now. He was in Springfield, Missouri. I flew up from Austin to Springfield, spent a day with him. Took me a day to get there, took me a day to get home, and a day to be with him. And Penny and I both went. And we both talk about that day a lot. So I spent $7,500. That's why I've never raised the price. So I'm going to do exactly what Gary did. Now, when somebody spends a whole day to get to Austin, spends a whole day with me, and a whole day to get back home, they spent 3 days plus $7,500 for me to sit and talk with them. And so 4 weeks ago, somebody came from Dallas. They're not in home services. And it's somebody that just deeply, deeply, deeply admires the 1-800-GOT-JUNK ads. And they tracked down who writes those ads. And they called 1-800-GOT-JUNK. They found out this is a number for Corrine Taylor. You don't have Roy's number. We don't have Roy's number. Nobody has Roy's number except Corrine Taylor. And people named Williams, right? And you know it. Of course, it's you. And so Corrine gives me my schedule. And so these people come down from Dallas, and here's some backstory on their company and blah, blah, blah. And here's why they're calling you. I'm going, okay. So the only thing they know is I write the 1-800-GOT-JUNK ads. So that's where I started. I said, what do you like about those ads? And he was telling me. I said, okay. So let me tell you how those came into existence. And I told him. And at the end of the day, it's a very, very, very big company. Very big. Tons of money. Willing to give me hundreds of thousands up front and tens of thousands a month to take this account. And I'm going, here's what I need you to do. And they were wanting to close. Can we just write you a check right now? I said, nope. Go home. I'm unwilling to talk to you for a week. Go home. Cool off. You've been under the spell. We spent like 10 hours together, and I suck all the air out of the room for 10 hours. We've been talking about all these big ideas. We've been talking about the kinds of things you could consider and the kinds of things it would take for you to become a household word and for people to feel about you the way that you want them to feel about you. And I'm going, I've told you how long it'll take. I told you what you're going to have to do different, blah, 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 blah. They're already spending big money, but they're spending big money badly. And I said, and we can't quit doing what you're doing right now because the new stuff isn't going to start working right away. And I said, it's going to hurt a lot.
Yeah.
And I said, so go home. It's going to take at least a week for me to even be willing to hear back from you. So just don't even think about calling me. Get distracted. Go back to work. Get busy. Get distracted. And I said, and if it keeps haunting you, a week or 2 or 3 weeks from now.
Yep.
And I said, in the meantime, there's 3 books that I've written that are available easily. And I didn't give them any. If they're not willing to go buy them, and it wasn't about buying them for the money. I didn't want them to think I'm trying to sell them something. I give them these books to read. It's like, I track down some books, buy the books, go to MondayMorningMemo.com, read through 30 years of archives of the Monday Morning Memo. And I said, and then when you're really familiar, it's the same thing you want people to do. They didn't know anything about us really. They just spent one day with me. What can you know in a day? And so finally, after about 3 weeks, they called back and they talked to Jake, which is the president of Wizard of Ads. And Jake knew about the meeting, and he knew what I had told him. And they said, yeah, we still want to move forward. And Jake says, well, all right, let me talk to Roy and make sure he's up for it. And I probably will. But the point is, these guys needed a cooling off period. They needed to go deeper into the stuff that had been written over the years. They needed to think and ponder and contemplate all this stuff I had told them to find out if they really were. You know what I mean? So several days later, after a meeting, they can have an actual decision. They can make an informed decision. But in the heat of the moment, I never close in the heat of the moment. And everybody teaches you to do that. But I don't want to close. I want to make sure we have a long-term relationship that works.
I love that. And so since we were talking to the partner group, I think that lesson is good for our partners, but I think that lesson is good for our coaches at Service Excellence, which is no twitchy bastards, period. We don't want twitchy bastard clients. We don't want to be twitchy bastards.
And you don't want twitchy bastard customers.
No, it's like we all need to be indoctrinated and understand and have that certain amount of cool-off period. Now, maybe perhaps one little caveat to that for people that are listening that are going, wait a minute, I don't want to take that same approach. I don't want my technicians taking that same approach. It also depends by degree, because certain business decisions are like buying a pack of gum at the grocery store. Just buy the gum. Just send the guy to the class. You don't have to analyze that to the nth degree. Just do that. But if you're talking about putting on the ring and going into a long-term relationship, take the time. Take the time. All right. Let's talk about an ad today that I just actually think is fun, not necessarily directly connected to today's topic, but I mean, it's just a effing great ad. That's a pun, which will be clear in just a moment. So, Alex, if you don't mind, let's give it a play.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, and drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
Roy, I don't know. Is this a Harmon Brothers?
It feels like Harmon Brothers, but I don't think it is. I think this guy, if I remember the story correctly, the guy in the ad wrote the ad.
Really?
And he hired a buddy. I think they produced it for like $5,000.
That's amazing.
And so this is a super, super, super talented guy who just had the courage to do something silly, but he also had the experience to understand how to capture and hold attention. And there is so long list of things in there that he never lets more than a few seconds go by, 3-4 seconds, without surprising you. Either with a word, a picture, something that it's called. There's actually a category. That type of production fits in a category known as a train wreck.
Okay.
In other words, there's so many things that are not really choreographed. Like when he walks through the paper, right? That orange paper, he goes punching through right at the beginning of the ad, and it hooks around his neck. And he's kind of dragging it with him, and he acts like he doesn't know it's there. He never reaches over and flicks it off.
Just leave it there.
That happened by accident. I promise you cannot bust the paper in a way that it wraps around your neck on purpose. But he just no matter what happens, just keep doing your thing. Never pause, never break character. And I'm looking at several times where something happened, and I'm going, they say, we'll just use that. You know what I mean? I promise. Whenever the machete was going to cut the tape, and it didn't, and he just yanks it, and it's like, the machete did nothing. Instead of cutting the tape, he's actually just yanking it out of Alejandro's hands, and the bear doesn't catch it. I promise none of that was scripted. They were just shooting, and the gag didn't work, cutting the tape with a machete. And what he did was actually funnier. And let's screw it, we'll keep it. And so all of the serendipity, all the little train wreck crap that normally said, cut, you got to redo that scene. He didn't, just power through. And then you realize the stuff that was unscripted and accidental was actually more captivating than the stuff you had written. And you go, oh, let's go with it.
Because you see who he is as a person and you like him.
Exactly. So you see who he is. It's like he truly is just kind of improvising that. He had the basic structure figured out. I'm going to start out here. I'm going to get on top of these boxes and walk toward the camera. And so he had a shot sheet. But all the little gag shots, most of them went wrong. But he just powered through and made it work. And just kind of going, wait a minute, this is a guy who's just kind of out of control, and you can't fake that.
Right.
He really was. Everything was going wrong. They just kept going. And I'm going, that's what makes it so adorable. I remember reading a story about this. It's a very, very, very old video.
It's like over 10 years old, I think.
Easily 10, maybe 15. This was early success on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Early YouTube, which was, I think, 97, something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
2005, maybe. I mean,
I
it
think
wasn't
I
that
read
long
this
ago.
ad took them from like 1 million to 100 million in a year.
Oh, yeah. And what I'm saying is I remember reading a story about it at least a decade ago, maybe more, reading a story about how that was all done. And I remember thinking to myself, yeah, this was literally just a guy out in the wild who had this idea and a buddy with a video camera, and they got together in a warehouse and what have we got? Well, we got a bear costume, and we got this chubby kind of a little Hispanic kid named Alejandro. And so, all right.
Which is a lady, but he's calling her by a guy's name, which I thought was also
Exactly.
funny as well. It's like, it's
Exactly.
just odd things all over the place.
Exactly. Everything is called a train wreck.
Yeah.
It's literally a category called the train wreck. And train wreck ads, if you do them, they're unbelievably authentic, unrehearsed. They're scripted, but it doesn't go according to script.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you just power through and just keep it going, and then you edit it together. And so they probably did it 10 or 12 times and edited all the little best pieces together and created that out of it. And I'm going, yeah, that's genius.
So on our team, Asia Craig and Adam Dethridge are probably the best at that type of ad.
No kidding.
Yeah, they're
Asia Gregg and Adam Dethridge are an unlikely pair. How they ever got together is miraculous. They just kind of recognized out of the 87 partners we have now. We added 3 new partners you hadn't met yet. And so they found each other, and they're both the same brand of creative crazy, and the stuff they do.
That's funny.
It is great. It's like that.
Yeah. They did some great campaign work with Daryl Robinson, shared client. So really great stuff. Well, Roy, this episode ended up being a lot of fun, and I think it was very clarifying. And it's probably one that when people begin to ask me questions like, hey, start here and then rewind backwards. So, Roy, here's the last question for this episode. What's the takeaway that you want them to have from today?
Before you make a big decision, contemplate it, think about it, sleep on it, meditate on it, research it, settle it in your heart, because if you're going to succeed, you have to be committed.
Mm-hmm.
You've been listening to Tight-Lipped Todd Liles and the Wizard of Ads, where the bold win and the remarkable reign. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow so you never miss a conversation. If you want a copy of the show notes or watch the ads from today's show, head over to toddliles.com/wizard. This episode is dedicated to the business owners who refuse to be ordinary.